What if I told you that in 2026, you can get an insanely powerful e-bike, one that rivals electric motorcycles, for under $1,500? Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what we discovered after testing dozens of models to find the absolute best value rides this year. Whether you're commuting, hitting trails, or just want that adrenaline rush without breaking the bank, this list has something for you. And trust me, some of these bikes are way more powerful than you'd expect at this price point. Stick around because the number one pick might surprise you. And remember, all the links are in the description below. Number 5, the TST 1500 watt peak electric bike kicks off our list. And honestly, it feels less like a bicycle and more like a rugged beast built to dominate anything you throw at it. Right from the start, meet this bike stands out with its 1500 watt peak motor and a solid 90 newton meters of torque, which means hills, sand, and rough terrain are basically no challenge at all. Compared to others on this list, especially the higher-end dual motorbikes, it may not hit insane top speeds, but where it shines is balance. Power, comfort, and usability all come together really nicely here. The fat 20 inches by 4 inches tires combined with full suspension give you that smooth, almost floating ride, especially when you're going off-road. Now, if we compare it to something like the DTTZH F-Series, the TST is definitely more approachable and less intimidating, making it a better option for beginners or casual riders. But here's where it gets interesting. The banana seat design with extra passenger capacity is something you don't usually see at this price. Yeah, it's giving it a practical edge over more performance-focused bikes like the EcoE or Cendouk. That said, the 72 pounds weight can be a downside, especially if the battery runs out, because pedaling this thing manually isn't fun. Still, with up to 60 miles of range, that's rarely going to be an issue. So, who is this for? If you want a tough, reliable, all-terrain e-bike that feels stable and comfortable without going overboard into extreme performance territory, this is a fantastic pick. But I'm curious, would you take this over a faster dual motorbike, or do you prefer comfort and practicality? Let me know in the comments. Number 4. Now stepping things up, the DTTZH F-Series, especially the F6 Pro, brings serious power and tech into the budget category, and it's honestly kind of shocking what you get here for the price. With up to 4,000 watts peak power and speeds reaching 50 miles per hour, this bike starts to blur the line between e-bike and electric motorcycle. Compared to the TST we just talked about, this is clearly a performance upgrade, offering much higher speed and a more aggressive riding experience. But that also means it's heavier and a bit less beginner-friendly. One feature that really stands out is the NFC and password unlocking system, which feels super modern and gives it an edge over almost every other bike on this list in terms of security and convenience. When you compare it to the EcoE or Cendouk, the DTTZH sits right in the middle. It's not as insanely powerful as those dual-motor monsters, but it's definitely more refined and practical for daily use. The full suspension and fat tires make it super stable on rough terrain, but you'll especially appreciate it in urban commuting where the AI power control helps manage battery efficiency. The biggest downside? Weight. At around 75 pounds, it's not something you want to carry around. But honestly, if you're riding it the way it's meant to be ridden, that won't matter much. So if you're someone who wants speed, modern features, and versatility without jumping into the extreme category, this might be your sweet spot. But what do you think? Do features like NFC unlocking actually matter to you, or is raw performance more important? Drop your thoughts below. Number 3. All right, now we're entering serious power territory. The EcoE dual-motor electric bike is an absolute monster, and if speed and torque are what you crave, this one delivers in a big way. With a combined output of up to 7,000 watts and a top speed of 52 miles per hour, this is on a completely different level compared to the TST or even the DTTZH. The dual motor setup means you're getting insane traction and climbing ability, making steep hills feel almost effortless. Compared to the Cendouk at number 2, the EcoE is slightly less torque-heavy, but still incredibly powerful. And honestly, the difference in real-world riding isn't huge unless you're pushing extreme conditions. What really makes this bike stand out is how smooth and controlled all that power feels. The intelligent controller distributes power between both motors so you don't lose grip, which is a big deal when riding on sand, snow, or loose gravel. The 60-volt 32-ampere-hour battery also ensures you're not sacrificing range for performance, which is something a lot of high-powered bikes struggle with. Now, compared to our number one pick, the EcoE is clearly more focused on raw power rather than comfort and efficiency. It's heavier, more aggressive, and not exactly ideal for casual city riding. But if you're replacing a car for rugged environments or just want something insanely fun, this is hard to beat. So let me ask you, would you actually use all that power, or is this overkill for most riders? I'd love to hear your take. Number 2. The Cendouk Peak 8,000-watt dual-motor e-bike is where things get absolutely wild. And honestly, calling this just an e-bike almost feels wrong. With a massive 8,000-watt peak output and a jaw-dropping 220 newton-meters of torque, this is easily one of the most powerful options you can get under $1,500 in 2026. Compared directly to the EcoE, this bike offers slightly more torque and a more responsive acceleration feel, which makes a noticeable difference when tackling extreme terrains like deep sand or steep mountain trails. The 58-volt 36-ampere-hour battery is another huge advantage, giving you up to 105 miles of range, which is incredible considering the level of performance you're getting. Now, where it differs from the EcoE is in its design. The 24-inch wheels lower the center of gravity, making it feel a bit more stable and easier to control despite its massive power. But let's be real, the biggest downside here is the weight. At over 100 pounds, this is not something you casually move around. Compared to the Cybervelo at number 1, the Cendouk is way more aggressive and performance-focused, but it sacrifices comfort and everyday usability. Still, if your goal is to dominate any terrain without compromise, this bike delivers in a way very few others can. No, so here's the question. Do you think this level of power is necessary, or is it just pure fun? Let me know in the comments. Number 1. Taking the top spot, the Cybervelo 1000 peak electric bike proves that you don't need insane power to have the best overall experience, and that's exactly why it wins. While it may not compete with the raw performance of the EcoE or Cendouk, what it offers instead is the perfect balance of range, comfort, and everyday usability. With a 1,000-watt peak motor and an impressive 80-mile range, this is the bike you can actually rely on daily, whether you're commuting, cruising, or exploring light trails. Compared to every other bike on this list, the Cybervelo is by far the most practical and well-rounded option. The triple suspension system makes a huge difference in comfort, especially compared to the more aggressive setups on the higher-powered bikes. And while those bikes are fun, they're not always realistic for everyday use. This one is. The build quality is solid, the ride is smooth, and the overall experience just feels more refined. If we compare it to something like the TST, the Cybervelo is less bulky and easier to manage, while still offering great performance. So, if you're someone who values comfort, long battery life, and versatility over extreme speed, this is easily the best choice. But what about you? Are you going for power or practicality? Let me know below. So there you have it. The 5 best e-bikes under $1,500 in 2026. From insane dual motor beasts to practical everyday commuters, there's something here for everyone. At the end of the day, the best e-bike is the one that fits your lifestyle and actually gets you out riding. So, which one are you picking? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your choice. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on the latest tech reviews. And remember, all the links are in the description below.